Welcome to Open Mic. Hello, everyone. We're back in the studio. Kind of exciting being back here. I know over the last year and a half, we've been at lots of different locations, but our guest today is local and wanted to come in. And I need you to stay with me when I'm telling you about this story. Our guest is Eric Anderson, who on April 18th, 2010, stopped at a Coney Island in Detroit to use the bathroom. While inside of that bathroom, an incident broke out and Eric was shot in the foot. He was taken to the hospital, treated, and released. 10 days later, a victim of an armed robbery only a few miles away from that Coney Island where Eric was shot gave police a photo of Eric Anderson and said he was one of the people who robbed him on the same night and right around the same time, which obviously would be impossible. Eric is on video at that Coney Island, but the jury never saw the video, and he was convicted of armed robbery and spent over 9 years in prison for a crime he didn't commit. Joining us now here in the studio is Eric Anderson. Truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. That's what you're going to hear on my podcast, Open Mic. I'm going to tell you things that most lawyers won't tell you. We expose the truth and bring you justice. I want you to go for the win in law and in life.
You want an honest man, but you don't understand. I want to be here when.
How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing okay. How are you doing, Eric?
I'm doing fine.
Well, the story is kind of crazy and convoluted, but the good news is you're sitting
Right.
with me. So not to have a spoiler alert, but you're out.
Man, I'm out.
So, you know, I've interviewed well over 10 people who've been in prison for crimes they didn't commit.
Okay.
Every story is a little crazy because
Most definitely.
you guys are getting convicted for things you didn't do. And that's crazy in and of itself. The fact that you spent 9 years in prison here in Michigan is not right. So let's get to it. Let's go through it. Let's try to make sense of this.
We're not gonna find no sense in this, but
Well, okay.
we
I
can
like
try.
you saying that. That's fine. Let's make no sense of this. Let's show how ridiculous this conviction was. How about that?
I'm with that.
All right. April 18th, 2010, 3:30-ish in the morning. Tell us about your stop at the Coney Island. What happened there that led to you getting shot in the foot?
April 18th, 2010. I was with a friend of mine, in which we was leaving like downtown area, you know, clubs and all that kind of stuff. Upon leaving downtown, I'm like, well, I'm hungry, and I also gotta go to the bathroom at the time. It's 3:00 in the morning, you know, time to go home at this point. Been time to go home, really. So as soon as I walked on the Coney Island, I got shot. It was an altercation with amongst some guys.
You didn't know any of these people.
No,
And were you in the bathroom or were you in the main restaurant?
I had just walked in.
You just, okay, so the bathroom thing, I think I read stories about this, that you were going to the bathroom. Right. You walk in the door, you get you get shot in the foot almost right away.
Almost instantly.
And then what'd you do?
Then, like, I didn't even know what was going on. Like, I'm pretty sure you never been shot.
Pretty sure you're right.
Okay. So it felt like something was vibrating, like something was vibrating through my foot. You know, I was really in shock. So I tried to take a step and instantly pain. So I started hopping. I hopped outside the Coney Island. The friend I was with, he was still in the car. He seen me hopping. He got out the car, ran to me, wheeled me to the car, you know.
Wheeled you?
No, like, you know, held me to the car. Like, he walked me to the car.
He assisted you to the car.
Yes, sir.
This is Darius Nunley.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then you get in the car, and what did you say to him?
I say, take me to the hospital. But, at the time, not growing up, I know the receiving right around the corner. I had got shot at Detroit 1, Coney Island, which is like Woodward and
That's
like
Midtown,
Peterborough.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Peterborough, right. That's
Yeah.
Midtown.
Yeah, so that Coney Island right there. Receiving around the corner, but hey, I grew up on 7 Mile in Greenfield, like receiving was my hospital I know about, so I told Darius, man, just take me just take me to Sinai.
Okay, so hold on. I think you just misspoke. If you lived at 7 in Greenfield, Sinai was your hospital.
Yes, sir. Yes,
not Detroit receiving.
No, not receiving.
Got it.
Okay.
I was born at Sinai.
No.
Little fun fact.
Oh, that's
I'm just
good.
throwing it into the show.
Yeah, you're a great man.
Thank you. So are you.
Thank
So you said, I don't want to go to Detroit receiving. I know Sinai Grace. Take me to Sinai Grace.
Right, and at the time I wasn't driving. It's 3 a.m. He had to go home to his girl, his family.
Did he live closer to Sinai?
Time he stayed in Oak Park.
Okay.
So you're not about to leave me at receiving tonight. Like, and I got shot in the foot. If it was somewhere serious, I got shot at, I'd be like, all right, take me there. But I was responsive. It was like, take me to Sinai Grace.
Okay. So this is relevant. It becomes relevant at your trial.
Yes,
These set of facts that we're talking about.
Very relevant.
Kevin Dietz is in our studio today. Kevin, just for kicks and giggles, can you do a MapQuest to tell me how many miles it is from Detroit 1 Coney to Sinai versus receiving? I'll get back to you in a second, Kevin. You could tell me that after. So he drove you directly to Sinai Grace.
Yes, sir.
And you were treated.
Treated.
And released that night, or did you spend the night?
Well, it was kind of early in the morning. I got out at like 7:30
in the morning.
So
okay, who picked you up from the hospital?
One of my friends took me to my grandmother's house. At the time, my grandmother stayed right around the corner from Sinai. She stayed on 6 Mile in Hubble.
Okay, so somebody picked you up,
Yeah.
took you to your grandma's house.
Yes, sir.
That's where you're staying.
Yes, sir.
And at the same time as you getting shot at the Detroit 1 Coney Island, 20-year-old Gregory Matthews Jr. and a friend, 19-year-old Stefan Tolan, were involved in another robbery.
Right.
Did you know these two people?
Gregory, I knew who he was, but like he wasn't a friend of mine. Like we never spoke or anything like that. Like he stayed down the street from one of my friends. So it was like, oh, the guy that stayed down there, like I never said 2 words to the man.
What about Stefan Tolan?
Never seen him.
Okay.
I think he was at my trial. But outside of that, no, never.
So they were robbed and beaten. At least one of them was beaten.
Right.
A few miles away from the Coney Island.
Is
that not true?
Not true. I answered the question that you gave Kevin. The distance between the two was 10 miles. Downtown, we're at the Coney Island. The crime happened on 7 Mile in Southfield.
Crime, the Matthews
Yes, sir.
and Tolan potential carjacking, getting pistol whipped in the face is what happened. That happened where?
7 Mile Southfield area.
Okay, 7 in Southfield. You didn't do it.
Of course.
Their story is that they were around 3 a.m. The same night. They were held up by 2 men with a gun. Correct?
Correct.
One of them, they're alleging that the robbers put a gun to their head, one of their heads, pulled the trigger, and it jammed. True? And then the guy with the gun beat up one of those two pretty badly.
Right.
And then they heard some beeps and somebody came outside and they took off running. Is that true? Am I saying this kind of right?
Yeah.
Am I missing anything important?
It might be Yeah, that's about what happened.
That's about what happened.
Yeah.
And then one of the witnesses said that as the two robbers were turning a corner, they heard a gunshot.
Right.
And that's basically their story.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's all in the police report.
That's all in the police report. So then you go home to your grandma's house. Your foot's, I assume, bandaged up.
Yeah. On crutches.
And then 10 days later, what happened to you?
10 days later, I was at my mother and father home on 7 Mile. One of my friends that came and got me. We was about to get some food, go visit a friend, like Puritan area. And, we rode up like Outer Drive to Myers. We was gonna take Myers up to Puritan, police pulled us over right in front of the car wash on 6 Mile in Myers, and came right to my door. Then let me see your driver's license, driver, or nothing like that. They came right to my door like, yeah, you Mr. Anderson, the guy that robbed someone and shot yourself in the foot. You coming with us? That's what they told me. So
What's going on in your head when they say this?
I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Like, that ain't happened, so, but wasn't no winning with that. Like, I can't argue and fight and all that kind of stuff.
Do you know how you became a suspect?
Yeah, of course. I know I became a
So
suspect.
tell me what happened. I do. I know too, but we're trying to tell a story here. So
Yeah.
tell me what happened.
So, upon me getting arrested, we went to the 8th precinct, or the 6th precinct. At the time the 8th precinct was closed down.
Okay.
So we went on Plymouth, precinct on Plymouth. I sat in the holding cell for a while. One of the detectives came to me like, "Do you know Gregory Matthews?" Like, "No, I don't. I don't know this man." He came back and he brought up one of my ex-girlfriend's names. I said, "Yeah." So then another detective came, called me out. Like, asking me, the circumstance involving the robbery. He also asked me about another robbery on Coyle that was supposed to happen the same at Coyle and 7 Mile. Each time I told him, like, I can't give you no information on these crimes because I was a victim to a crime myself. I got shot downtown. So after me saying that a couple times, he was like, "All right, where you get shot at downtown?" I told him I got shot at Coney Island. He like, "All right." He then, sent me back. He was like, "I'm gonna do my investigation on this." He did his investigation because I got shot downtown. The police from the 1st precinct came and seen me at Sinai Grace. They came and seen me, took a police report because I had left,
But how did they find out about you? Did you call the police that night?
No, probably the
doctor?
hospital. Yeah, the hospital probably.
Yeah,
called
that's
the police.
protocol.
Yeah,
So that's good information. So the police came and took a statement from you.
exactly.
And your statement said, I assume, I walked into and I was immediately shot. I left and I went to Sinai Grace.
Correct.
And that was taken probably in 4 o'clock in the morning that morning.
Just about.
Okay, keep going.
So he said he's gonna do his investigation. Okay. I guess he did his investigation, went about his way. A couple days later, I was moved to Wayne County Jail. Approximately 2 weeks later, the same detective and somebody else that was with him, probably another detective, took me to MSP post, Michigan State Police Post in Oak Park to take a lie detector test. Cause I guess it checked out. Like I said, I was somewhere. Oh yeah, my bad. I'm sorry. Let me back up. He asked me what I have on that night. I told him everything I had on that night. Mike, you know what you had on 10 days ago?
No.
I ain't think you did.
So how did you remember?
Because something drastic happened to me in my life. You know, like
You probably had blood on some of the stuff.
I got shot in the foot, and
It didn't. I mean, your
Like-
shoe.
the hospital cut it off and threw it away. You know,
Interesting.
so
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
I wasn't keeping that trophy.
What about your pants? Because wasn't your jeans were a factor in this?
Yes, sir.
Because you had special jeans on.
Yes, sir. I had some. It was a clothing brand named Ed Hardy.
Okay.
I had
Ed Hardy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I've heard of it. Like a motorcycle brand or
something like that, like skull heads or all that kind of
yeah,
stuff.
skull heads. Okay.
Like back in the day, that was popular. So I had those jeans on, and that's what stuck out. That's how they was able to identify me. I told them I had these jeans on.
They identified you on videotape that they had at this thing.
Yes,
The
sir.
first set of cops or the second set of cops identified you?
Cops, period. You know,
Anybody who looked at that tape, they'd see
I
a
was about to
guy,
say,
they'd see you. Now, was your face in the video?
from the angle that was given to the police, or the angle that the police gave out to us. Because think about it, when you walk in a public business, they have many cameras in there. They just don't have one at one door. They have it inside the business and everything. So it still drives me crazy as to why we didn't get another angle.
So to this day, 10 years, whatever later,
Yes, sir.
you've never seen your face on video.
No, never.
Okay, so what's on this video?
What's on the video, you will see my face. But the video in which that I have, you just see my back. You see me walking in with the description I gave. And
With the jeans, the Ed Hardy jeans,
Yeah.
in the back of your head.
Yeah.
I assume a guy with tight hair.
Yeah.
Now, when you see this video, is it you?
Yes, sir.
There is no video that you know of that
With
has
my
your
face.
face. Right?
Not that I know of.
Somebody didn't record it right. Somebody lost it. The police destroyed it. The restaurant lost it or destroyed it, or who the heck knows? But
Right.
you've never seen it.
Never seen it.
But is it clear that when you walk in, that you see the video with the back of your head, the
Yes, sir.
jeans, the shirt you gave the identification of,
All of it.
all there?
All of it.
And then in the video, does it show you getting shot in the foot?
It showed me reacting, because I don't think it was no volume on it. So it showed me reacting, like looking at and then walking out.
So it
No.
shows you walking in, reacting, and walking out. And on the way out, that you can't see your face.
No.
Okay. So,
Yeah, so I went to MSP
for the lie detector
for a
test.
lot of detective tests.
How'd that go?
You know, on the way there, the detective's like, well, you know, you passed this, you know, you good, you gone. You know, growing up, I used to watch Morse. The Morse show.
Povich, sure.
Yes, sir. And, you know, that was a lie. That's the truth. You know, so I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I'm out of here.
I'm going to pass this test.
I'm going to pass this test. But that's thinking from like a child mindset, you know, was if you failed the test, you was wrong. You was lying, you know.
Eric, let me interrupt you. Had you talked to an attorney at this point?
No.
Okay. Did they offer you a chance to talk to an attorney?
I believe they did.
And you said no. You were under arrest, but,
Right.
but you said no.
Yeah. I didn't think about it.
Because you knew you were innocent.
I was innocent. Like, I thought I was getting out the precinct that day once they went and reviewed my tape.
For future reference, for anybody
Yeah.
listening or watching, don't do that.
Don't do that at all.
Thank you. You get an attorney. The second they say you're under arrest, you stop talking. You get an attorney, and let the attorney walk you through this process.
Yeah, because it definitely didn't work for me. And
So-
I'm an innocent man. So
So you took this test. Did they tell you right then and there that you failed it?
yep, they told me on the way back.
On the drive back to the jail,
We was on I-75.
what'd they say to you?
They said I think he said something like you failed. Charges is, you know, upheld. Go to county jail. So let's fast forward, because this is May. Let's fast forward to September
2010.
2010.
What happened in September?
September 2010, they give me a plea
Offer?
plea offer. Yes, sir.
What'd they offer you?
They offered me probation.
If you pled guilty, you weren't going to jail and you'd go to probation.
Yes, sir. I had a plea. I got charged with 2 armed robberies, assault with intent to rob while armed, and felony firearm. They told me if I plead that I would be pleading to 2 unarmed robberies and be placed on height of probation for 2 years.
And did you have a lawyer at this point?
At this point, I had a court-appointed attorney.
Okay.
Which is something else you don't do. If
you can afford it.
Right. My dad had asked me, did I want a lawyer? I told him, no, you could say that. You know, like I was so
save your money.
Yeah. I was so confident that the people that's in charge of upholding justice would do the right thing. You know, so I was so overly confident in them that, you know,
you said there's no way they're going to convict me because I didn't do it.
Right. The facts is laid out for y'all.
So they offered you a plea of no jail time, no prison time.
No prison time.
But you had to say you did it.
Yes, sir.
And what did you do?
I said no. My judge was in utter disbelief.
Who was your judge?
Judge James Callahan.
And did you ever talk to James Callahan and said, I didn't do this?
I mean, in the courtroom, I did.
And so that's why you're not pleading to it?
Right.
And the judge couldn't believe it because a lot of people plead guilty to things they didn't do to avoid jail time.
Right. If I was guilty of something like that, I would have took that.
Of course.
Like, that's like, I guess.
Walk out of jail that day.
Right. Well, get out of jail free card, I guess.
But you would have had to lie.
I would have had to lie.
So you turned down the plea offer.
Yeah, I turned down plea offer. The judge asked me, he said, are you stupid? That's what he said on record. Yes, was I stupid? I never forget it.
And what'd you say?
I said no. He said, what's your highest level of education? I told him high school, some college. Like, I was going to college when all this had happened. I was going to WC3 to try to go to Michigan State, transfer to Michigan State after a year. That same judge told me, go talk to your lawyer and your father and the bailiff in his chambers. We even went to the chambers. They wanted that conviction so bad. Went to the back. My dad asked me what I wanted to do. I told him I'm going to trial. I'm not a fan of people confessing the things that they didn't do. You know, like, you're not going to get me like that.
I hear you. And if that doesn't prove your innocence right then and there, I don't know what does. So you told everybody you're going to trial.
Right.
How many months, weeks later did you go to trial?
I went to trial 2 months later.
And did you have the same court-appointed attorney?
Yes, I did.
And what was his name?
Norman Robner.
And how do you think he did for you at trial?
It was horrible.
Tell me what happened.
Just this alone, the fact that he never showed the jury the video.
So did you say something to him during this?
Yeah, I did. I said, this is what he did. He gave the jury video stills. You know,
Pictures,
the video
photographs.
Still. But if you guys don't know what a video still is, it's basically a picture of a video, or in today's world, it'd be screenshotting a video.
Mm-hmm. Why didn't he show the video, the actual video?
I don't know.
Was he allowed to?
He should have been. It's evidence, you know.
And what did the screenshot show?
Just black and no, it's color, but the screenshots show, you know, what's in the video. You see my pants. You see all the necessary things, you know.
Did he call your friend who was with you when you were shot?
He did.
He testified.
Yes, sir.
That you were shot at the Coney Island, and then you guys went to Sinai Grace.
Yes, sir.
And did you testify?
I did.
And you told the story that you just told us?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And who else? What else was part of your defense?
Part of my defense. Let me see the tape. I had another friend testified as well. A guy that was implemented with me in committing the crime. He testified as well.
Saying what?
Saying that, you know, that never happened. You know what I'm saying? He never got arrested. So it was kind of weird because I didn't want him to come to testify, because I'm like, worst kind of worst, like they're gonna arrest you because like you're my co-defendant at that point, you know. But they left him alone. So it was like, what is this really about?
So what was the prosecution's case?
The prosecution case is like you said. First of all, they said that I might have been at the Coney Island, but I didn't get shot at the Coney Island. They saying I went from downtown to 7 Mile Southfield, robbed two guys, pistol whipped them, gun went off upon me leaving the scene, and the bullet went in my foot. This is another thing I said at trial. I don't want to forget this. I tried to explain, because I think at the time an NFL player had just shot himself in the foot. I think Burgess, I think he played for the Steelers or something like that. Plaxico Burgess, or I think that's happened when I was in prison. But anyway, he had shot himself in the foot. In order for an individual to shoot himself in the foot, the gun had to be aimed down at his foot, right? Meaning that the bullet would be somewhere on top of his foot. My wound came from here, came out here.
The side of your foot.
It came from the right side out the left side. There's no way possible for me to do that, for me to shoot myself.
Did your defense attorney present expert witness testimony that was an impossibility?
Fail.
Did not.
Did not.
Did he try to get an expert witness?
I can't recall.
Like a doctor testifying?
I can't recall.
Okay. And so
I tried, in my testimony, I explained this to the jury, everybody in the courtroom. I even offered to show the jury my wound so they can see for themselves what it looked like. Judge objected to that. You know, I don't know if he thought it was too explicit. I don't know why.
But who did the prosecution put on? I mean, these witnesses who said they saw you pistol whip and, rob these guys, there was a few people who said that, right? Somebody said they were looking out a window. There was the two people who were robbed.
It was the two people that was robbed and one of the people that was robbed mother. Okay, let's back up. Remember when you was giving the description to the audience in the beginning, based off the police report?
Yes.
In the police report, everything says unknown. Guys had on masks. Unknown. Unknown means something in which you do not know.
Right.
He had heard I got shot the same night, So that's when he, went to the police station, filled in the blanks then, saying me and one of my friends. He only added my friend because the same night, the friend that took me home was at the hospital. He had dropped the weight on his wrist like weeks prior. And it was wrapped up.
The guy who drove you there?
No, the guy that took me home.
Oh, the guy who picked you up.
Yes.
Got it.
So that's another thing that was in evidence. Like, all right, the guy in which I got everything on my defense. Also, the guy that you saying that's my co-defendant has medical records that's saying that he didn't do this. So if he didn't do it, y'all saying he's my actual co-defendant, why y'all just leave me? So it was like something else that was very weird. Cause like all signs point to me being innocent.
Did your defense attorney cross-examine these witnesses?
He did. So, okay, like I was saying, everybody was, unknown. He found out I got shot added me and the friend he seen at the hospital because we went to Sinai Grace. He went to Sinai Grace, you know. So that's when it was him and him. They did it. He told his mom. She made the statement after that. So now it's like everything went from unknown robbers, unknown suspects to is this guy. On the stand, he said they masks fell. I mean, they shirt. We didn't have masks. We had shirts, and they fell off our face. You know, it's like all kind of other stuff.
Right. So the police report originally, when they reported the crime, they didn't know who these people were.
Exactly.
The thing that seems important at the trial that might have really hurt you was the location of the robbery in respect to Sinai Grace.
Exactly.
So how far where exactly did the robbery take place that you weren't part of?
7 Mile on Archdale. It was actually in Archdale,
And
which is 2 blocks before 2 blocks before Southfield Road.
And how many miles is that from Sinai Grace?
Shoot, see 1, 2, 3.
3 miles?
Yeah, about just about 3 miles.
So they argued that you weren't telling the truth.
Yeah. They
argued that you were shot after you pistol whipped and robbed these people, and then the closest hospital was Sinai Grace, and that's where you went.
Exactly.
The fact, I mean, how that doesn't make a whole bunch of sense is that how did they? This is getting the confusing part and the crazy part, and right. I apologize for my lack of getting this question out so clearly. But how did they argue at trial that the police report you gave at 4 a.m. at Sinai Grace Hospital talking about the shooting at Detroit 1 Coney Island? How would you have even known about that shooting?
I would have not known. That's the thing. Like, so I don't even understand how the jury convicted me, because it was a jury. They always say a jury, you'll be convicted by a jury of your peers, right? I had police officers, I had all kind of people on my jury on purpose, just to deal with 1, time, 2, bullet wounds, gunshot wounds, you know, and common sense. So I'm not understanding. I still to this day don't understand what led or what made the jury convict me, or what even made the prosecutor office continue to press charges.
So, did this private investigator testify at your trial?
Trial? No, I didn't have a private investigator at trial at all.
Oh, you're talking about after the fact.
After the fact.
Okay.
Which led to my release.
So we're jumping ahead a little bit. Despite all of these defenses, you were convicted on November 5th, 2010 of 2 counts of armed robbery, assault, and illegal use of a weapon.
Exactly.
What did you think when you heard that guilty verdict?
I was like, here we go, appeal. You know, at that point.
Were you shocked?
I was shocked. Like, I was very shocked, because like I was like, how could this happen?
Did you understand any part of it because of the closeness of the robbery and Sinai Grace, and did you understand their arguments?
I still don't understand it.
Okay. You were sentenced to 13 to 20 years in prison, plus an additional 2 years for the weapons charge. And did you think the truth was going to come out after that massive sentence?
I was always optimistic. Even though I had got let down at trial. You know, I was still optimistic because that's all I had.
So then 2 years later, the Michigan Court of Appeals vacated your assault conviction because it was multiple punishment for the same offense. And the appeals court upheld the armed robbery and illegal use of weapons and remanded the case for resentencing. You were resentenced to 12 to 20 years, followed by 2 years. So that really didn't do much.
It only took off a year.
That didn't do much.
But really, you know, after I did my screening sheet and all that, what they was supposed to only take off, they was really only supposed to take off like 7 months.
Okay, so
So the judge just
that was a kind of a technicality issue.
Yeah.
But you did something. You got lucky, or you did something smart. But you got the Michigan Innocence Clinic involved.
Yes, sir.
How did you do that?
You know, I fed them my case. You know,
You contacted them.
yes, sir.
And you convinced them to take your case.
Yes, sir.
Did they come down and interview you in prison?
They did.
Who came down? Do you remember?
Yes, sir. Dave Moran, Megan Richardson, and oh man, I don't want to forget nobody, but
Well, I appreciate that because they're amazing people. What? Jennifer or somebody?
I don't think Jennifer was there.
What year was this?
This was 2018.
And what prison did they come to?
They came to Adrian, Gus Harrison Correctional Facility.
And you told them the story. And what did they tell you?
It was like it sounds promising.
And so this is 2018.
And I signed my retainer with them at that point.
Okay. They did their investigation. They got their investigators. They connected with the Wayne County Prosecutor's Integrity Unit. Correct?
Correct.
And they convinced the Wayne County Prosecutor's Integrity Unit, Valerie Newman, who runs it, to vacate your convictions.
Yeah, I mean, upon their own investigation.
Wayne County's.
Yes, sir. I had an interview with them as well.
Who interviewed you?
The whole conviction integrity unit, like 8 people.
They came to the prison?
No, it was via video.
Tell me how that went.
So
What did it? Tell me about the gist of that.
when I had first of all, when I heard I was going to have a video conference, I'm like, I was happy. I was very happy because now I'm like, it's like trial all over again. You know, but it's like with progressive minded people, with people that want to make a change. You know, and I felt like as long as, you know, the facts are there, everything makes sense, they're going to do the right thing.
So tell me about the person who admitted to the crime that you were convicted for. When did that come up?
I had actually found out who did it a couple years into prison.
2012, 2013.
Yeah, you know.
So how did you find out who did it?
Mutual. We got mutual friends.
What's this guy's name?
Demetrius Edwards.
So somebody got a message to you that Demetrius Edwards was involved in that robbery.
Yeah.
And what did you do with that information?
I didn't do anything with it.
Why not?
Still, at the same time, I was optimistic. I was thinking like I didn't need him. You know, everything was on the table.
But you hadn't even contacted the Innocence Clinic yet at that point.
Still, I was going through appeal process. You know, it wasn't really even time to, you know, contact them at that point.
Wow. So that's interesting. You're sitting doing hard time in prison.
All right.
And you got a message saying this Demetrius guy, is it what he was admitting to it?
Yeah.
Was he in prison
Yeah, he was.
for something else?
Yes, sir.
Was he willing to help you?
He was.
And you didn't take him up on that?
Nope.
That's curious to me. If it was me, I'd be jumping up and down, screaming and yelling and waving my hands around saying he admits to doing it.
All right.
And you're saying, so why? I don't understand why you
Well,
say you didn't need him, but
at the time, listen, let's go back. So let me see. I had did the court of appeals process. You know, they granted me some kind of relief the year when I, upheld the rest of the charges. All right, so that's a win-lose, however you want to look at it, really. I looked at it as a win because it's like, all right, so now I got some traction now. Even though they ain't really admit that the rest of it was a problem, but it was a problem in itself. when he sent in, he actually sent me an affidavit as well.
He sent you an affidavit saying I did this.
Yes, sir. But like I said, at the time I had, I think my case was with the Supreme Court or something like that. Michigan Supreme Court.
Okay, but they denied it.
They denied it. I just thought like the man was going through enough. He was scheduled to get released maybe 2016. It probably was before that. However,
go ahead, finish your thought.
However, he had got charges that got brought up on a murder with him that he was supposedly been involved with. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna say this for later, you know.
But you had compassion for this guy. You're doing 12 years of prison time for a crime he committed, yet you had compassion for him to not bring him in, did not get him involved, yet he sent you an affidavit basically begging you to get him involved.
Right.
I mean, it sounds like a smoking gun that could have gotten you out earlier.
It could have.
Did this card get played in with the Michigan Innocence Clinic? Did they use this affidavit at that point?
Yes, he was interviewed by the I believe the CIU, the Conviction Integrity Unit.
So this is 5-6 years later.
Yeah.
So you did 5 or 6 more years of prison until that card was played.
Right.
And you didn't get out until what was your release date?
April 30th, 2019.
And you got that affidavit from him around 2012, 2013? Initially,
but I didn't use that.
I understand. So you sat in prison for 6 or 7 years knowing that the person who committed this crime was trying to help you, but you were just still hopeful that the process was going to work itself out and you didn't want to use it.
Yes, correct.
And the first time you started using it was with the Michigan Innocence Clinic.
Yeah, because at that point when I wrote the Michigan Innocence Clinic, I had just lost. Like I was sad like that. I probably cried 2 times in prison. You know, maybe 3. My great grandmother, when I got sentenced to all that time, and then when I lost my federal, my case with the federal court to give me relief. So I'm like, I'm not gonna say I was kind of like desperate at that point, but it was like, I don't know where else to go at this point, because why aren't they seeing the light?
Why aren't the courts?
Right, exactly.
So Michigan Innocence gets involved. Dave Moran comes down and his team. You told him about this affidavit. The video with the clothes played a big part of it. What else played a big part of it?
I told them to identify or to search, break down the hospital records.
And the hospital records showing that you could have gotten shot the way they said.
Right, exactly.
Was there anything else, or were those the 3 big pieces?
3 big pieces. Unless I'm missing something, I'm pretty sure it was just them 3.
I mean, I didn't read the paperwork,
Right.
but that that seems like enough.
Yeah.
And so, how long after you were interviewed by the Valerie Newman and her team were you released?
I was released about 7 weeks.
7 weeks after that conversation?
Yes, sir.
Was it the same judge who let you out?
No. That judge is retired now.
Okay.
So it was a whole totally different judge.
Tell me about that day.
That day, well, let's back up the day before. Let's back up to the 29th. My counselor had told me that I had a video conference with my lawyer, or phone conference with my lawyer the next day. I said, okay. So, the whole night I'm like, well, what they got to tell me? Because we had just had the conference with the CIU a month prior. I'm like, ain't no way that I'm about to go home this fast. Cause everything in there dealing with courts is a process.
Slow.
It's at least a year, 2-year process. Like I waited, I think 3.5 years to get denied by the federal court. So the next day, I go get my phone call with my lawyer. My lawyer was Megan. That was my lawyer.
The new lawyer from Michigan.
Yes, Megan Richardson. She say, "Hey Eric, you're getting released today." So I was very happy. Like very. Like that was.
Did you cry that day?
No, I didn't. Actually,
that would bring me to tears.
I didn't. So I rushed back to my housing unit. Go cut my hair. I'm really bald headed. I really need to get a haircut right now. I get halfway through my haircut. The correctional officer say, "Hey man," he came with a garbage bag. "Hey man, they saying you gotta go, so you gotta go. They want you up front." I hurry up and grab all my stuff.
Did you finish shaving?
I don't think I did.
So you had half a shaved head?
I think.
But you didn't care.
I didn't really care because I was getting sick of coming out here anyway. So I
So you walk up front. What happened?
I walk up front. I probably waited up front like 4 hours though before I got out.
Oh.
With them, because at that point the judge didn't yet sign it wasn't my turn in the courtroom for them to argue and all that kind of stuff. So he didn't sign the order at that point. So I had to wait up front, for him to go through his docket and all that kind of stuff. But soon after that, I had to sign paperwork anyway. So soon after that, I was released. Megan and which one was it? Because I had 2 student attorneys. One of them was there. It's kind of blurry at this point.
It doesn't. It's okay.
It was a
but
great
it's the
day.
University of Michigan team. Was Valerie Newman there?
No.
Was anybody from the prosecutor's office there to say anything to you?
No, not at all. The only people that was there was University of Michigan. Then my dad pulled up like 10 minutes after they did.
Did anybody from Kim Worthy's office or ever apologize to you?
Publicly? I mean, like on the record?
Yeah, or privately.
I mean, privately, yeah.
Who?
I think the whole team, they apologize, to all of us.
The conviction integrity unit people?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Said this, you were wronged. This shouldn't have happened.
Shouldn't have happened. Yeah, shouldn't have happened. But, they apologize to everybody. Like, they really good people. So
it's amazing. It's an amazing story.
Their job is to make things right with, individuals have been wronged by their system. So
that is their job. And,
mm-hmm.
Wayne County's office, it's, we commend them for having this unit inside of the prosecutor's office. There's not many of them in the country. There's only 100. And there's 6,000 prosecutor offices.
Yeah, that's wild, ain't
it? They need more. So
I think that we are pushing for more prosecutor office to have this. When I say we, I mean like we have a group, all the exonerees, called National Organization of Exonerees. So we really been pushing for everybody to see the light. Recently, a few of us have went down to Missouri within the last couple weeks. Missouri is big because they don't have nothing to do with us here in Michigan. However, it's individuals down there that's been falsely accused, wrongfully convicted of crimes in which they didn't commit. And, they having a hard time down there. Get them out. Like, their laws are totally different, almost barbaric down there when it comes to being progressive and doing the right thing to ones that, you know, been wronged by their system. So you know how the prosecutor office have the power to go right to the judge for release, and down there they don't.
They don't have that power?
They don't have that power. They gotta go through the attorney general and the governor. So you have a prosecutor. It's a guy named Kevin Strickland. Been locked up for 43 years. The prosecutor office of the county that he had got arrested in is saying that, man, we messed this up 43 years ago. However, they have to get clearance through the attorney general and the governor, in which they're fighting. So really it's government versus government for justice.
That's so painful.
That's
I've read the story about Mr. Strickland.
Okay.
No, that's a horrible story. So you've been out for 2.5 years.
Yes, sir.
How hard has it been to get reacclimated in society?
At this point, it's, you know, I'm good.
Good. Are you? What are you doing?
Right now, stock market, you know, investment. That's about it.
And you did get some compensation from the state of Michigan for wrongful conviction.
Yeah, a little bit. However, I'm fighting for my federal compensation, my federal lawsuit. That's what I'm really fighting for. I've been turned down by so many lawyers in regards to this claim.
So you're doing this on your own right now?
I'm trying, but I'm kind of stuck right now.
So the federal law is not in your favor?
Not in my favor.
No, you got your compensation from Michigan, which is not enough. I agree with you.
All right.
It doesn't matter. I know how much you got, but it doesn't matter. But you got, you know, what the state mandate says.
All right.
And a federal law, you have to prove some pretty crazy, deliberate things against certain actors. And it doesn't sound like you know, it doesn't, this is going to sound messed up,
Right.
but it doesn't sound like you didn't get a fair trial.
Right.
I've had people in your chair sitting right there that I've interviewed who didn't get a fair trial.
Right.
The judge was crooked. The prosecutors were crooked. The police were crooked. Your case, the jury just didn't believe you.
Right.
Right? I mean, the prosecutors argued a plausible. It didn't make sense to me, the story, but they argued what they argued, and 12 people agreed with the prosecution in your case.
Right.
Wrongfully.
And I think that, you know, I think it's part of the human element, right? To be compassionate. So here you have a guy that's saying, or two guys, and one of the guy's mother saying that this guy assaulted me, assaulted my son. This is the guy.
And I saw him.
And I saw him.
And I'm 100% sure that's him.
So it kind of bring me back to, like, you know, how the courts used to be as opposed, like, in regards to, like, race. Like, this is totally different, but you know how they'll say this man touched me or this, that. All it had to be was a word. You know, the man did this. Say why they think the man did it, the jury gonna convict. And I think this was a case of, you know, compassion for the victim without even keeping in mind that I was also a victim that same night, and it wasn't no compassion for me. It wasn't no compassion for me from the jurors that was there. It wasn't no compassion for me from the judge or the whole prosecutor office that aggressively, you know, pressed charges on me. It wasn't no compassion for the detective that investigated the case, that seen that I actually didn't do it, that everything I said in my statement to the Detroit Police Department was in fact true.
And I'm sure none of these people, the jurors, the judge, the prosecutors, the police, they haven't come across and apologized to you.
Never. They never
Some
will.
of them may not even know. Like the jurors probably don't know.
I'm pretty sure they don't. I wouldn't even expect that at all. Because I'm pretty sure they just want to get the hell out of there. You know, let's be done with this. They was sick of their jury duty. So
One of the reasons we do these shows, Eric, is hopefully a potential juror is going to hear stories like yours And next time they're called for jury duty, they're going to go in and do the right thing.
Right.
And give the right skepticism and give the right weight to your stories and really think about it and learn about these wrongful convictions, because you know what? They happen all the time.
Yeah.
And it's not right. And people need to know about these stories. We need to get the word out, and that's what we're trying to do here on Open Mic. Did the man who committed this crime, did he ever get convicted for this crime?
No.
He's still in prison, though, for other crimes?
Yes.
Have you ever talked to him?
Yes, I have.
And what was that like?
No, regular conversation.
Okay, but he's in prison.
Yes, sir.
And you talked to him when you got out?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything you want to say to the University of Michigan team, Megan Richardson, Dave Moran, and the rest of the team about, what they did for you?
They know I love them. Forever grateful for, the time, the effort in which they put in my case. I don't think I could ever repay them for what they did.
Yeah, that's a pretty great organization up there.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go see them next month. So,
excellent.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Sorry for what you went through. I'm glad you got such a good attitude now. And it sounds like you're doing some good advocacy work and trying to help others around this country and change some laws.
Yeah, because, it's my duty to now. Like, I've been through that experience. It was a horrible experience. But sometimes in horrible experiences, it builds character. So I just gotta do the right thing. Right now, we advocating for individual that's on death row.
What's his name?
We got to edit that too.
What state?
I think Philadelphia. Pennsylvania.
Okay.
I believe. It just came across my desk within the last 2 days, but I haven't really researched it. But that's kind of like our next project.
Got it. Are you working with guys like Aaron Salter or Kenny Winenko? You know any of these guys here in Michigan?
Who? Kenny who?
Winenko.
I don't know him, but
Aaron?
I know Aaron Salter.
Aaron's a good man.
Yes, he is.
And he's doing some advocacy work and trying to raise money and things like that, coming out with materials. Innocence Maintain apps to try to help people who've gotten out. So
Aaron's a good guy.
He's a real good guy.
Kind of like my big brother.
Make sure you tell him hi next time you talk to him.
I will. I'm gonna call him as soon as I leave.
All right. All right. Any parting words before we let you go?
Thanks for having me, and I wish you the best. You and your team the best in all your endeavors.
Thanks, pal. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Thanks for watching Open Mic with Eric Anderson, another wrongfully convicted man right here in Michigan, 9 years in prison for a crime he absolutely impossible that he committed. Another man admitted to it, still took 6 or 7 more years to get him out. Thank God for the Michigan Innocence Clinic and the team up there led by Dave Moran. Another heartbreaking story. Lots of thanks to Eric Anderson, who came on, shared his story. We wish him the best of luck. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Share this story, comment, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Let us know about this story, how you feel about it, and anything else you want to hear us cover here on Open Mic. See you next time.